say if you're thinking like Haydn's classical quartets or anything like anything along that.
If you put any Haydn classical quartet, you can pretty much read.
You can read a Haydn quartet. Like,
yeah.
There's no harmonic changes. There's no meter changes. There's no like different kind of
there is no complicated
tempo markings within like 10 bars of each other.
No complicated rhythms either.
Yeah, no complicated rhythms.
Like there's a lot of things like grand pauses and like rits all through it, which like we've never played before, and we don't know who's starting, who sets the tempo, who does anything. Like
it has a lot to do with individual work and how we know what the other parts are playing too. So it's almost like we have to play it through 5 times before we can really get the idea.
Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Be a lot better even if we just had like one listen through it, then like just even like one listening through it.
Just rather than sight reading.
Yeah, then like it'd be like drastically different.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think of Beethoven in his later life?
Beethoven is not only still numbered amongst the living, but is at a period of life when the mind, if in corpore sano, is in its fullest vigor, for he has yet to reach his 52nd year. Unfortunately, however, he is suffering under a privation which to a musician is intolerable. He is almost totally bereft of his sense of hearing, insomuch that it is said that he can't render the tones of his pianoforte audible to himself. It is indeed very sad. However, one wonders if he shouldn't simply stop composing and discontinue torturing us with these violent efforts to produce something in the shape of novelty. Indeed. Take, for example, one of his late string quartets, often 5, 6, even 7 movements, approaching an hour in length. He searches for the strangest of harmonies and engages in a tiresome delay of resolution, with a systematic hatred of ending a fragment of melodic phrase by perfect cadence. It seems to me to be all evidence of a worn-out creative ability, no longer capable of finding melodies. To quote an ingeniously picturesque saying of one of our foremost composers whose instrumental music is admired by everyone, Beethoven's imagination in the finale of the 13th String Quartet suggests a poor swallow flitting incessantly in a hermetically sealed compartment to the annoyance of our eyes and our ears. Indeed, Beethoven was not a man of the fugue, and he was never less so in this nightmare.
And Beethoven's late works, for example, Opus 131.
131? It's, what can I say about it? It's, every bit of it is garbage. I hate it. It's horrible. What can I say? It's garbage.
This sucks. I just don't understand.
I just really don't like it. Just like that.
Yeah, me neither.
Why?
I don't like it.
What's an opus?
Ridiculous. Nothing good about it.
I didn't really like it.
I was wondering if you could talk to me about late Beethoven.
Was he the blind one?
Don't like it.
Do you like Beethoven's latest quartet, the C sharp minor?
No.
Okay, what don't you like about it?
It's just not my thing, doesn't sound all that good.
Why?
Just uses all these crap harmonies. I mean, in the first number it explores all these weird keys. They don't really relate and stuff, and I mean, at the end he uses this weird D major Neapolitan 6 to cadence on C sharp instead of the dominant chord. It doesn't really go all that well for me. Into the next movement in straight octaves, that's another thing. Doesn't work for me, doesn't work for anybody. The second number is in D major, which is okay. Not a big fan of D major. I mean, not really. Then he just repeats the same themes like over and over again. Sounds kind of stupid. Oh, it's the length. It's too long.
Great. Is there anything else you have to say about it?
Yeah. He ends the second movement. I mean, it doesn't give any kind of cadence. It's just a D and an F sharp, like 3 times, and it's not even a complete D major chord. I kind of need, like, it's not really anything.
Pretty open-ended, yeah.
Then he goes into B minor, which comes out of nowhere again. And I'd be fine with that, but you can't prepare a B minor chord with an incomplete D major chord. And so yeah, I guess the third number is probably my favorite.
Oh,
if I had to pick one.
Why is that?
It's brief, the length.
Ah.
Brief length.
Yeah, okay. Okay.
But then it ends without any conclusion again. That kind of ruins it for me.
Indeed. The whole orchestral part of Beethoven's Ninth I found very wearying. It was a great relief when the choral part was arrived at, of which I had great expectations. It opened with 8 bars of a commonplace theme, very much like Yankee Doodle. It seemed to be made up of the strange, the ludicrous, the abrupt, the ferocious, and the screechy, with the slightest possible admixture here and there of an intelligible melody. The general impressions it left on me is that of a concert made up of Indian whore hooping and angry wildcats.
The fourth movement was fine. It was formulaic. It sounded pretty good. It was almost like Schubert. And then the last variation kind of ruined it for me with that stupid cello line. I mean, it doesn't fit at all. If you don't like it, if you don't like that, you're kind of, the rest of it's kind of ruined as well, because that line kind of goes through the whole thing. Pretty bad. So yeah, I like a theme variation as a form, but it wasn't good here. Kind of ruined it. The end of the number almost saves it with a perfect cadence. I'm a big fan of perfect cadences. Usually, if there's a perfect cadence, it makes it for me, but here it didn't work. He modulates right at the end of the dominant minor. Again, not a big fan of that.
Oh, do you have anything to say about the next movement at all?
No, length, too long. And also the ending doesn't make sense again. He has a thing for that, I guess. You think it's going to be a nice cadence on the tonic E major, but and it abruptly moves into G sharp minor to get ready for the next movement. And that doesn't do anything for me. I mean, you don't even need another movement as far as I'm concerned. At least it's short though. But
yeah. I see. Well, what about the last movement?
Nah. Didn't. I left really before that started. So.
Je ne les aime pas. Ils sont trop, disons, indestins. Le montant de dissonance est absolument intolérable. Il était un grand homme, mais dans sa vieillesse, il a perdu son aptitude. Beethoven a pris goût aux dissonances anti-euphoniques parce qu'il entendait peu et confusément. Les assemblages de notes les plus monstrueux finirent par résonner dans sa tête comme des combinaisons admissibles et bien sonnantes.
His compositions more and more assume the character of studied eccentricity. He does not write so much now, but what he produces is so impenetrably obscure in design and so full of unaccountable and often repulsive harmonies that he puzzles me as much as he puzzles performers.
Oh, hello. We do hope that you enjoyed our short movie on Beethoven's late work. Now, you're probably wondering what our testable points are. Given that we have already been examined on our knowledge and comprehension of Beethoven's late work, we will have 2 testable points. So if you wouldn't mind pulling out a pen and paper, let me give those to you. The first testable point is that Beethoven used many different forms in order to obscure the transition between movements, including pivot modulation, as well as simple parallel octaves. The second testable point is that people believed Opus 131 to be compiled by scraps of paper that a publisher found, with ideas Beethoven had written down and wanted to publish it in an effort to release a work after his death. Thank you, and until next time.